Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Edward Yang's EE from the year 2000. Here we are back again, and this time we're mentioning EE and discussing this film. Of course, I did say that I'd be, discussing this film, reviewing this film very recently. Of course, I mentioned this, but yes, seeing this film for the first time actually, around about 2 weeks ago now, just under that, as of course, recording this video, but yes, I'm not sure when it'll be up, but yes, of course, here it is on Criterion, Blu-ray, of course, spine number 339, and the final gift from Edward Yang, and here it is, wonderful, cover. The artwork here is really something else, and as always with Criterion, just a luxury experience, and I'm sure there's many special features that'll be great to explore as well. But yes, this film, of course, this discussion will have spoilers. If you've not seen this film, I'd recommend watching it first and then coming back to this discussion if you want, and from then we can kind of talk about this film. But yes, if you've not seen this film, I think simply, if you can, get a copy, preferably Criterion, and just find the time and just relax, and then just let this film kind of take you to this place, cinematically. For me, this film is absolutely wonderful, and I just think, wow, it really moved me, this film, and just blew me away on every regard, in just every way. I think just wow, from the opening sequence, which is his wedding, of course, of Addy and his wife, and they kind of, there's this marriage, this ceremony, of course, and you have all of the different characters, really the main kind of players, in this film, kind of in this ceremony. We get to see these characters in kind of a joyous occasion, of course, and some of the characters maybe aren't too happy about the occurrences, which is very interesting. But yes, you see the main characters in this situation, and there's many films that kind of do this. Of course, they introduce the film with a wedding, or as such, and there are many famous films, as we know, that do that. But yes, just the way in which this film opens up is truly special, and the music, of course, just greeting you with this wonderful music. It really was such a beautiful kind of opening sequence, and this goes on, and we see, as I say, the different characters and their kind of character traits, perhaps. You see different underlying maybe issues, or concerns different characters have, and as well we see NJ, of course, played by Nien-jen, and he is basically one of the main characters we follow. We of course also follow Yang, played by Jonathan Chan, and yes, we follow these main characters. Kind of the stories, quite wonderfully, intertwine. Kind of there is a perfect balance, I feel, of characters here, and I think just I'm always wanting to kind of know more, throughout this film about the different characters, but just so entranced in a particular character. That's what I found, who is currently kind of being explored. I found by the end of the film we have the perfect kind of character work here, yet so much more that I wanted to kind of know about these characters, their lives, and just where things would go from there. As we kind of ended the journey, and what a journey it is. What a wonderful achievement this is. What a sincere, humble film, and just so welcoming. In its opening act, that I was just so, it just greets you with this wonderful feeling, and from then really we have after the opening act, around about 40 minutes or so, things turn a bit darker, actually, and we go in very unexpected ways. I did not expect the film to be this dark and harrowing, actually, at times, and shocking, very shocking film at times. Particularly, I kind of refer to different moments, in the end, the ended act. Of course, that murder as well that happens. it's kind of linked again to these main three characters, you could say. Of course, Ting, she has this. Essentially, she has this relationship with this other character who's also, it's kind of this love triangle that happens. Her friend and being her neighbour as well, but her friend, having feelings for this other character, and eventually he kind of turns his focus onto Ting. So that's very, very interesting as well. This love triangle that kind of is shown in the film, and that's another shocking moment. The involvement, of course, of that character with that murder there, and that was just shocking in the way it was done. And it's moments like this that just you get so caught up in these characters' lives that just these events they really shook me. And of course, you have this film is essentially in a nutshell various areas of life. Of course, you have different age groups in this film. You have essentially three generations kind of explored in this film. You have the grandmother as well, who slips into this coma quite soon into the opening of the film. Really, it's not too long before she slips into a coma, and essentially for the almost the entire runtime, she is in this coma, and it's in kind of in the background in a very unique way, while the lives of these characters kind of go on, and we have these transformations essentially, particularly of NJ and Yang. Yang is such a a great character, I feel, and really it's a coming of age story for him. And we have this family in Taipei City, the exploration of their lives, and just we have economically and socially the exploration of these characters' lives, and just as a whole we have this unit, this family, but so personal, this film, and the way that every character is treated in this film, and not just this family, but just side characters in this film. Such dignity, such humanity, just I think a sincere picture, I feel, of life. And this is such an honest film. Just thinking again, the opening sequence, this wedding, how sincere and honest that is portrayed. Just really so true to life. And I think I love the way in which this film is shot. Specifically, in that sequence we'll mention. It's very, we have these shots from quite far back. Again, some would say that could be detached. I don't think so. I was so immersed in this, in this kind of style. And of course, we have, different moments where it's closer in, of course, to the characters. But many shots in this film, and you could say it's very Mizoguchian, maybe Ozu-like as well at times. But we have. The difference with Ozu, we have many, tracking shots, camera movements. So of course Ozu's later work, especially, didn't really have these. But yes, we have, very, very far back. Edward Yang kind of places the camera, sometimes from the outside, of a window, a room, and we're kind of peering in, at these events, at these different characters, discussing things or things happening to these characters, and of course just it leaves this sense of wanting to know more, wanting to kind of get immersed in this, and actually ironically it's not detached at all. It really is quite a wonderful way in which he directs this film, and I think just we at the same time we get all the necessary emotions with these characters, also just I think not necessarily intruding on these characters. I think that's the kind of way in which Edward Yang directs this film in that sense, and I think the editing is genius. We have different moments where we shift our focus, kind of, it's all connected though, of course, a massive kind of weaving of these stories, but we have moments where the characters, the shift, of course, very subtly, seamlessly, kind of turns, and we then focus on, such character, once again, and I never found that I was kind of spending maybe too long with a particular character. And then, we have the different shifts, and we have all these different moments that are so meaningful, the different kind of stages, if you will, of life. And I think, seeing, for example, Yang, his, of course, his struggles, you could say he's getting bullied, by different characters in the film, and we see this as well. This is set up, introduced in the wedding sequence. These different characters, perhaps teasing Yang, and he, I found there's a particular moment, straight away as well that I just. I found wow. I just really responded to this, and something where Yang, he found it maybe too uncomfortable to eat in front of these characters who are mocking him, and of course, in such a charming scene, a very very funny scene. We'll get to the comedy in a moment, but NJ takes Yang to a McDonald's, and they kind of. He has a meal there, and that's such a wonderful moment, that I think, and such a charming moment, and just a human moment. I found this is such a kind of memorable scene, and just a really relatable kind of moment. Of course, a young boy being perhaps intimidated, perhaps by different other characters, and not wanting to kind of eat perhaps in front of these characters, and of course. His father taking him somewhere else, and then of course he can relax. And I found that such a wonderful moment, such a human moment here, and I think NJ as well. He he's one of the best characters really, in cinema in many regards. I think he is such a well-written character. The performance here is just staggering. It really, really is. And I think, again, the way the characters are treated, is so wonderful, so sincere, and just complex characters. Really, really complex characters, but just so enjoyable throughout. In terms of the performances, just the kind of the joyous moments at first, perhaps, but then of course you follow these characters, and it kind of takes a very dark turn. And by the end of this film, I must say, I'm thinking on the whole experience. This is quite a draining film, and that's not in a bad way at all. The opposite, really. I think, by the end of it, I was just, I remember finishing this around about 9 p.m. and a little bit earlier, and I just thought, I'm going to leave any other plans really I had for the rest of the night, in terms of maybe reviews, or just maybe watching something else, and just kind of relax and mellow, because it left me in a state. I just experienced such a a kind of emotional journey with these characters, in this setting, and all their different struggles, and the joyous moments, the uplifting moments as well. But it's such a complete experience that I felt like we'll leave it. We'll see what happens tomorrow, and we'll take it from there, because I just got kind of put in this state of that's enough for the day. It was that complete of an experience, and it just left me very drained emotionally. I think this film has many moments that I kind of related to, in some way, maybe. For example, I'm referring to, of course, the grandmother, and the adventure, of course, in the end, the passing. This is such a powerful, kind of arc, and when this eventually does happen, in the end, of course, the ending scene is the kind of the funeral, really, and of course, Yang, his response to this, such a powerful moment. What an emotional film this is, a real spiritual journey as well, and just seeing, this. What happens with this grandmother? I guess many can relate to this. I have no grandparents anymore. The last of my grandparents unfortunately passed 5 years ago now, so I was quite young actually when I no longer had any more grandparents. So seeing this, and just seeing the way it's treated really moved me quite a bit actually, and I think it was just treated with such honesty and dignity, and it really is a spiritual film. This, and this particular kind of thread, if you will, really spoke to me, and it's such a kind of all-encompassing film. We have different stages of life that maybe one can relate to in a general sense, of course, and take things from every kind of arc, maybe every area of this film, its narrative, and I think at the same time it's this epic, kind of visually stunning film, wonderful music, of course, and we have these, these broad themes as well. We have this character, Ota, or Mr. Ota, and he's a very important, character in this film as well. And there's a very interesting dynamic that happens, and that develops, of course, through this kind of business deal, if you will, of course, involving Japanese video game company, which is very interesting to see. And yes, something that is actually again very unexpected, the way things turn out there, and maybe this friendship that happens. But all these characters, these side characters, these maybe some would say are, yes, just supporting characters. They don't seem like that. It's all part of this world, this universe. I feel that Edward Yang has created so wonderfully, but geniusly controlled. The way he tells this story, the way he weaves, things, together, and these different threads, and the way in which, at one point I was quite wowed. We have NJ's former flame. She comes into, of course, in the wedding sequence. They kind of cross paths, if you will, and this is very kind of an overwhelming scene. The way their reactions, of course, there, and just, of course, she plays a pivotal role in the film. Sherry is, the character, the former flame. She plays a pivotal role later on in the film, and they kind of reconnect in some way, and they kind of contemplate, their lives, and what would have happened if they maybe ended up together, and just reminiscing, I guess, about their past, and together, and kind of sharing stories of what's happened since, but really, it's kind of this reconnection in some way, but it's very complex. There's very mixed emotions. When this was going on, of course, and it's very kind of sad at the same time as being quite hopeful as well. This is what this film is. It's a very a film full of hope, but of course very tragic, very raw. I feel actually, it's a very kind of entrancing work. It's a very majestic piece, but it is very direct. At times, actually, and very raw emotions that I felt. But seeing these characters, kind of walking and just going around the city, and just talking to one another. But you also have this parallel at one point, with Ting, and her, the relationship she's having, and there's actually a kind of back and forth. We have this juxtaposed, this wonderful, sequence, I feel. And it's kind of this parallel between these two different relationships. So that's really quite something as well. But it really takes a lot to kind of edit and to put these sequences together, to actually visualize and kind of really plan this out, and for it to come together in this way is really quite genius. I think it really is special in its direction. I think quite something. Very intricate, of course, and I think just the way in which Edward Yang, has just controlled these. There's quite a few characters, I guess, but there's enough attention, enough kind of focus on each of the characters, at different moments, and of course together in the end, just all these threads adding up to this, to the bigger picture. We have life and death explored in this film, all the kind of intricacies, of that, and of course we have a wedding and the funeral, but that kind of they are, they're the bookends, of this film, in between. That's what it is, really getting to, and I think just the way in which this film moved me, it really was quite something, and the way it came together in the end, yes, such a kind of a realised film. This, I think Edward Yang is just, with this film in such control. wow, I look forward to seeing the rest of his films. I can't wait to see A Brighter Summer Day. That's the one I had even higher hopes for than this. But seeing this, wow, imagine a film topping this by the same director is quite something because this is really just a special film. But yes, what's really wonderful as well is Yang Yang's, as I say, transformation in this film, and of course the way in which he discovers this passion for photography, and that is really wonderful to see. His kind of just this sense of wonder he's finding, and the ways in which he's looking at the world in a different way, and through, of course, taking photos, and of course, we have I think the Criterion Menu is really great. Now that I've seen the film, because as we know, the menu of the Criterion Blu-ray, of course, is the kind of montage, of the different photos, and I love the link, the actual meaning that has to the film, because in the kind of final act we see this montage of all these different photos and stuff that Yang Yang has taken. It's mainly, of course, the back of the characters' heads, different individuals, of course. It's just such a wonderful sequence there. But just seeing the joy in which Yang Yang is experiencing this form of art, and just really looking at the world in a certain way with a sense of wonder, and just intrigue. It's something I guess many people can relate to, and I think the way in which it's done is so organic, actually, because it doesn't really occur for quite a while in the film, and it just makes sense when it does. And I think just the way in which as well, you have the teacher kind of mocking him, and that can can be said for art in general, works of art. People, there's always going to be someone criticizing the artist, or just in a particular way, maybe criticizing in a personal attack, perhaps, a particular individual who's creating something, and that's a very powerful scene as well. And just Yang Yang, the struggle that he goes through in the film, and all of the kind of harshness of life, but within that he finds this passion, and that really is in a general sense quite a wonderful thing about art, really. Maybe he can't connect to different people, he can't communicate in many ways to different characters in the film, but then he kind of speaks in a particular way through photography, is in this film. So wow, this is quite something, and I love the way in which there are comments on films and stuff in this film as well, and just culture, and just seeing this. It's all there. It's all there. It really is quite a complete experience, and I think just the warmth of this film, the kind of the tender nature, of different relationships in the film, really is such a powerful experience. A decent length as well. It's not a really long film, but it's a decent length, so you get enough time as well in the actual sense of the actual sense of time, but to spend with these characters and just experience this this kind of entrancing effect. Very meditative film, very I feel it's very reflective, contemplative film, and it asks you, I guess, in a very sincere way, to kind of maybe reflect on your life, wherever you are at your point in your life. And I think it really the wonderful thing is it includes all the different the main maybe core elements of life in this as well. So it's got everything, it really has, and it's something maybe people respond to in different ways. But I think just in the way it's such an epic film, but it really is a personal film, and that's the genius thing about this. And I think well, epics in general, I love epics, of course. Many of my favourite films are mostly epics in some way, but I think you have to make in some way a personal epic for it to really be a great film. And to call this film great is kind of underdoing things a little bit, just at least from my experience. I personally love the film, but yes, I think this film really really is, a masterpiece for me. I think yes, absolutely, a masterpiece. And a real master. Directing this film, writing, of course, so wonderful. The kind of human understanding, really is quite something. It really speaks to me in so many areas, and just it's a kind of very dark film at times, but very uplifting, and just full of this this sense of hope, just with warmth, and just I think a magical feeling as well at times. The way the film is shot is beautiful, of course. As I've said, the use of color, especially red, I feel especially opening act, is something to behold. It's an awe-inspiring film, really a wonderful, epic, majestic film, but very intricate, very subtle, very personal, and the way in which Edward Yang has constructed this film, just the way in which it just comes together so perfectly, really, for me, I think is something to behold, and I am so grateful to Edward Yang for this film. And I haven't seen his other works, so of course I aim to rectify that, as soon as I can, of course. A Bright Summer Day will be watched in August. That was always the plan, and hopefully, we'll see what that's like. But I don't expect anything less than another great film. Really, that one's really been in my sights for a number of years. But yes, EE, this truly is a special film. Its use of comedy as well. I love the kind of blend of comedy and drama. The tone is never broken, but we have these moments, laugh out loud moments, really. A kind of a charming sense of a comedy in this as well. And I think I love the way in which it's so organic to the characters, and just such a wonderful film. I think one of the funniest moments is, of course, the balloon, with the teacher there, and Yang, his involvement there, with with the teacher there, getting that thrown on him. It's just a hilarious moment, and it's just a moment that's kind of been building up, perhaps, in different areas. But yes, moments like this are so funny, and it's just so many moments in this film. Very humorous. So it's got that. It's got the kind of the comedy that grounds as well. Grounds the film's kind of drama, the emotions of the film. But wow, by the end of it, I was very not entirely devastated. It was a mix of many different emotions. But it was a very draining film. In all the best ways to put it, and I think just pretty much a flawless film. This, in my opinion, it is a masterpiece, and I think just the way in which Edward Yang presents these characters, the way in which they're so relatable, in maybe just one way for every character, for each particular character, but as a whole as well. Just this family, that is kind of presented to us, it really is unforgettable, and it's something that's truly meaningful. Just the use of music as well, and of course the piano scene. Wow, truly wonderful moment. We have that in the first half of the film. You know what I'm referring to there. That is a beautiful moment that brought me to tears, actually. And we have these connections. The response to art as well. Throughout the film, as I've said. Photography as well for Yang, and just as well when Ting is wanting to, or the kind of talks of going to the cinema. All these different moments, just such there's something in this film I feel that could be for everyone, because it represents so much life, and just the different stages, the different areas, of course, and phases perhaps, but it's all a complete experience, and it never feels like it's going off track. But yeah, it's just the way in which Edward Yang has directed this film is something to behold, and I think just a wonderful, soulful film. It really is a spiritual experience. It just uplifted me. It had me laughing. It had me crying at different moments. In the end, just wow. It put me in a state of just really quite something. This film, it really did move me in many regards, and it's such a stunning film. It really is. And if you haven't seen this film, and you may be skipping ahead at different moments of this discussion, of course, And once again, you have to see this film at some point. It really is a marvelous film, and as for my rating, I think maybe on a couple of rewatches, this could be, or maybe even one. That's when I could maybe consider if it is in my plus tiers, but it's quite close actually. So it really is one of my favourite films, of all time in many regards, and I think this was a treat, a real treat. It's a film, one of the best films I've seen in a long time actually, and just masterful from start to finish. We have these joyous occasions at first, but then things turn very dark. But it's these the mixture, the kind of blend, complex emotions, but at times very simple, and direct emotions, and it really is treated with such dignity. Non-judgmental film. This never is there a point in the film where any of the characters are judged, or treated in a way where they're kind of seen in a particular light. It's just a very complex film. It just simply offers us these characters, these arcs, of course, these threads, and we're just left with kind of a balance, and of all their traits, of all their actions in the film, and we're left to kind of decide for ourselves in a very sincere way, and just such a gentle film. This really is. Of course, there are harsh moments in the film, but that is, of course, life, and the way in which it's treated is so gentle and so beautiful. It really is, of course. And yes, my rating for this film is 100%. Yes, indeed. I think it's an absolute masterpiece, one that hasn't got any flaws, in my opinion. Really, and just really from start to finish. There are moments where the film goes into different directions, but it never loses focus of the big picture, and the balance of these characters. Quite a few characters, of course, and all their threads, and I guess it could be overwhelming at times at first, but actually, as the film goes on and it kind of expands upon these core relationships, dynamics, actually it becomes more and more clearer as we go on. I think by the end of it, I really I got everything I hoped for, and more. It's a real staggering film, this, and I think I can't wait to rewatch this film again. Again, that could be for a while, perhaps, because it really left me with quite a satisfying feeling. But I look forward to nevertheless. Maybe who knows? Maybe a year from now again, I could rewatch this film. So yes, I can't wait. It really was a film that I loved from start to finish. The way the film was shot is quite something. The editing is just wonderful. It's just this beautiful film, and I think just the use of music, and wow, just seeing these characters interact in the film, seeing the early stages, this whole experience, the wedding, of course, and just looking back on this moment, perhaps, where all these characters maybe are just simply together, and seeing, of course, the grandmother, of the film, in this particular moment, and looking back on it, things were quite off there, perhaps. Things didn't seem right, and looking back on it, maybe yes, you kind of you can sense this, that something is going to happen there. But again, it's such a shocking moment, of course, when you find out she goes into a coma, and just the way in which it's kind of running for the rest of the film, and in the end we have the funeral of this character. Really moving, I feel, and just a highly contemplative film, as I say, that has all the different stages of life, and just offers so much. The emotions of the characters, how they experience maybe regret at times, and they look back on different moments, they contemplate, they reflect on what's happened, and it's, of course, more kind of heavy with NJ's, the character NJ, his kind of his life, of course, but we have it even with Yang, the way in which he kind of finds his passion. We have all these different moments, of course, and the characters feeling different emotions, and just such a wonderful film, this, and I recommend it to anyone who is a film buff. So we'll wrap up, of course. I think I could go on, but we'll leave it for now. I think it's nice to leave some things for now, and I think who knows, I could next year or so, maybe one day I could talk about this film again, but we'll leave it for now. I think there's a lot to kind of process as well. My first watch of the film, but that's just the way it is. There's a lot to talk about here. It's such a kind of intricate film. The overlapping of stories as well, the parallels as well at times. There's so much going on here, and all in this less than 3 hour epic. So yes, quite an achievement here, and of course a real gift from Edward Yang. What a film this is, of course. And what do you think? What do you think of this film? That would be so great to kind of hear your thoughts on this. Wow, it'd be so interesting. Really interesting film, of course, and one that I personally think is just a wonderful, personal film. This and a masterpiece in my eyes. But what do you think? Have you seen this film? If you've not, I highly recommend the Criterion, especially. Very a wonderful gift. This, and I think it's great. The Criterion have released this. So yes, next up in terms of Edward Yang, it'll be A Price of Summer Day for me. So that'll be in August. And I can't wait to see that film. Wow, I've been looking forward to that one. In particular, for so long, and many people that I know, especially have praised this film so much. So I have very high hopes for this film, and I'm sure it'll be a great film. I expect no less. Considering Issei, is such a wonderful film, and this film as well. A Brighter Summer Day has been in my sights for some time. So yes, we'll be back. With Edward Yang possibly next month. So yes, that's it for now. Of course, as I say, what do you think of the film? How would you maybe compare it to other Edward Yang films, if you've seen them, of course? And yes. Regardless of what you think of these other films, what do you think of this film? What do you think of Issei? And what is your experience with this film? It'd be great to know. And as always, just anything cinema related is always great to discuss. Of course, I'm very grateful for as I said recently, all the subscribers to my channel, and people watching my videos and commenting, of course. So yes, as always, take care, and yes, thanks for watching.